Hi everyone, again welcome back. So we have already started with Selenium, so I'm really happy that I could see a lot of assignments getting, you have shared all your assignments. That's really good, and everyone used different locators. You not only just go through your code, you also can go through others' code how they are using XPaths. So I'll also go quickly cover how we can do this assignment, and then we'll get on to some other different topics, right? So good. So what I can do, I will basically go and create a new test. Maybe uh, this is Amazon assignment test, something like this. And let me get started with the main method. Yeah. So let me copy this whole stuff. Okay. So guys, please go on mute. If you're not speaking. So this is for launching the browser, and I just want to open a different one today. That's Amazon. Right? Okay, so once this is open, I want to maximize the window, so I'll remove all this unnecessary stuff, right? And yeah, first step, I need to click on this. Okay, click on inspect, and guys, most of the people have used ID by.id as nav hamburger menu. That's absolutely fine. You can use that, and if you want to write an XPath for this, you can also write it based on ID. And some people have also used like this, but what I would suggest, whenever you are trying to click on a I or a span, try to check. Okay, try to check whether if there is a parent with the tag name A or button. See guys, A means it's a link. Okay, button means it's actually a web button. Okay, so these are all reliable sources to click. Okay, so if you try to click on I, okay, maybe it will work in this particular machine, or maybe in this particular browser, but it's not a very guaranteed that it will also work in different browser, or a different operating system. So it's okay, if it is working, that's absolutely fine. But I prefer to write more standardized way of my XPath, that's using a tag. Okay, good. So for now, ID is very straightforward, so you can basically directly use ID. um, Drive dot find elements and y dot ID. So I want to click on it, right? So good. And what else I want to do? After clicking on this, yes, it will pop up with all these things. Okay, I will inspect this. So if you notice again, you can basically use uh, uh, slash div with text equal to this, right? Sorry guys. Sorry, I didn't copy it properly. So let's go here, inspect it again, and copy the mobiles and computers. Paste it here. Okay, so this is a XPath that you would have written. That's absolutely fine. But again, I told, clicking on a div tag is no, clicking on a tag is much better than clicking on a div tag. So what I do, I put a, you can put double dots to click on the parent, or you can use parent colon a, so that you are sure that you are clicking on a link, right? So this is how I write my XPath. I would suggest also you to learn this. Okay, not many people out there write like this. Okay, so by that, I'm using XPath now, and I'm just clicking on a tag at the end. Okay, so yeah, click. And what else, in the next step also, after clicking on this, um okay, I have laptops. Okay, so there are people who have written contains as laptops, that's okay, but today it's work. But tomorrow, let's say they are adding a new menu called as laptop accessories. Okay, at the time it might not work. So whenever you're writing expands, try to use equals as much as possible. But if you are thinking, okay, equals might not work in this case, then go for starts with our contains. Okay, so here it's almost an a tag directly, so we can directly use a tag with Texas laptops. So yeah, quickly I can go here and copy this laptop's text, a text. Okay, okay, so that's it guys. So you can go again and drive dot find elements, Why not XPath? Okay. Once you're done with this, let's go. It's a five minutes assignment, guys. Okay, not more than that. So I'll go to laptops, and if you notice, we are having an apple here. So let's click on inspect again. Notice, go to apple, and clicking on, the span tag is not that reliable. So either you can click on the a tag here, or you can also go to the checkbox. So if you notice, when I hover over the tag names here, okay, span and all, it's getting highlighted. So when I hover over this, it's highlighting this. Okay, let's go here. So if you notice, there is a input tag. Okay, so clicking on an input tag is much better, because if you notice, this is a type equal to checkbox, which means it's a checkbox. In Amazon, maybe if you are also clicking on Apple, it will check that. Okay, but in most of the cases, you have to click on the check boxes to click on it. So you need to be really careful. If it is working, that's fine, but if it's not working, you need to make sure that you are clicking on the checkbox rather than the apple itself. So maybe, as everyone would have written the apple very easily, so what I can do, I will start with apple. Okay, you have to start with apple, because that's the key that distinguish from other elements. So I'm starting with apple. Okay, but um, you know if you notice, let's minimize this as well. So this span and this div are basically your siblings, right? Either you can click on a tag, that's when parent colon colon a might work. Okay, this is also fine, but this time let's do a little bit of difference. So let's use a preceding hyphen sibling colon colon div. Okay, once you go there, either you click on this, or in my case, what I do, I'll go. So it's not mandatory that you have to go label, and then inside you have to go to input. Okay, it's not like that. So I made a spelling mistake here. So label slash input. Okay, you can go like this, or you can remove this label and then use double slash, so that it's also same. Okay, so yeah, so now it's trying to click on the checkbox itself. So this is having input tag, which is much better than clicking on a span tag. It's absolutely fine if it is working in this particular website. So just an added knowledge from my side. You can take this. Find elements by dot again XPath. Okay, but once you are done with this, yeah, so you can basically, many people have written good XPaths for this. Okay, so now here, if you notice, let's click on this. So basically, I need to click on the first one, and if you notice, this main search results 0. So this is, maybe this will be unique. Okay, let's see what is the second one is also having. Okay, the second one is having main results 1. So let's see what's the third one is having. Okay, main results 2. So they have, in Amazon, they have arranged in such a way, the first results is your 0th index. Okay, so let's go here, inspect again, and here. So if the cell widget hyphen underscore id is 0, which means that's the first element in this stuff. Okay, so yeah, let's try to write an XPath. So I want to write an XPath for this with the span tag. Okay, at the rate, good, yeah, and so the value is this. Okay, so this is the first element, but I don't know whether if I click on this, it will click. So what you can do, we need to click on this particular thing. Okay, so you can basically right click and inspect again. So if you notice, okay, there is an ear tag here. If I hover over this mouse, it's not highlighting anything. So this is, so let's click on this href. Okay, it's taking me to the next page, which means this is a link that we are trying to click. So what I can basically do, I will come inside this two divs and then find this here. Okay, so again, guys, if you click on this, if it is working, that's absolutely fine, because I'm not even trying it. Okay, I'm writing the XPath at the first time itself. I'm not trying, running it multiple times to check whether it's running. So this is based on my experience or knowledge. I'm trying to write an XPath. Okay, so If you choose A, which means most probably it will work. So if you notice this link, okay, if you click on this, it will basically take you to the next page. Okay, sorry guys, I if you click on this, it will take you to the next page. This is because the same href is here. Okay, if I click on this, it's taking to the next page. So I will be very sure if I click on this, it will work. Okay, so that's why I'm trying to find this A tag. Okay, that's the only reason. So inside div, so there is a okay control. I need to click on a div inside that, and the div inside that, and the span inside that, and this A inside that, right? So this is how it is. But yeah, you can also basically see uh, how we can remove this thing and then directly come to A. Okay, maybe you can add another attribute like MacBook chip and all that. But yeah, for now this is fine for me. I'll copy it and let's go there. Okay, so click. Good. That's all, guys. So I think we are done. So let's see if this is working. So it has failed. Okay, so there are two reasons. Maybe the page took a little bit of extra time to load. So what I can do before Apple, I'll add thread.sleep for maybe 3 seconds, right? So, and I'll again run the test. So this is again not working. So let's go here. What's telling it could not find the Apple, is it? Element click intercepted exception. Okay, so the checkbox what I'm trying to click is not working properly. So it's better that we go and you know click on the Apple directly itself. Okay, whatever that I did seems to be seems to be it's not working. So maybe you'll directly use with text. Okay, span with text as Apple. Okay, it's okay. We tried to do some. Oh, okay, maybe I added it in front. Okay, Apple. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Let's try to run it again once. Okay, it's clicked now. Yeah, so it's now clicking on this. Okay, and somebody is telling please click on the sort by and all that. So you can also click on that, guys. It's not a big deal. So maybe let's go there. And here, what I'm doing after clicking on laptops and Apple, I want to click on the sorting, right? So since these guys are asking, we'll do that. Okay, so let's go here, click on sort, inspect, and so there are two kinds of drop down. Okay, one is bootstrap drop down, one is select drop down. Select drop down, you have to handle it differently. This is a bootstrap drop down, which means you need to click once and then choose the other one. Okay, this is the way you have to choose it. So first I need to click on this particular sort by. So if you notice, the sort by is having a text with span class. So here there is no a tag or something. So I have to click on the span tag itself. That's absolutely fine. So if there is an option, click on a tag, otherwise it's fine. Okay. So I need to click on a span with a text as, yeah, I didn't copy it properly. Is it sort by? Okay. So this is the, okay, so this is fine. Once this is done, maybe the no the whatever the drop down option that you are seeing might take a little bit of time to load. So because this does not involve page loading. So what I can do, I can apply thread.sleep for some time. Okay, for now. Okay, dot sleep for maybe 3000 seconds. And once this is done, how I want to arrange. So maybe I'll put high to low, and so this is having a text, so it's easy for me. So I can basically copy this. So just the text alone is getting changed. So yeah, I'll replace this text alone. Right. Good. Now this is done. So let's try to run it.
Hey, it is under A tag, I guess.
Okay. So then yeah, maybe you can optimize that to click on the A tag. So yeah, as long as you can understand, that's fine, guys. Okay. So it's waiting for 3 seconds now. Let's see what's happening. I think it's not clicking it. So what's telling? It could not click on it. So the problem with the high to low. Let's go and again fix it. I thought it will work. So yeah, so this is basically A tag. So that's the problem. Oh, okay. I thought the parent is A. Okay. So good point. I just overlooked that. Maybe it's not clicking on it again because maybe little time it's needed to click on that. So again, we need to give some time. Okay. So yeah, so basically we are using a lot of thread.sleeps. That's the problem, where the problem is coming from. So we need to avoid using this thread.sleep. Okay. The problem is, what is the problem with this thread.sleep? Okay. So let's say you are writing a program that interacts with 100 elements. Okay. And you are inserting thread.sleep for 3 seconds. Okay. Tomorrow your network speed is bad. So what you do a maximum of 10 seconds. So now the element apple becomes available in the 2 seconds itself. Okay, within 2 seconds this becomes available. But what this thread.sleep will do, it doesn't care. Okay, it still sleeps for 10 seconds. Okay, so you are wasting almost 8 seconds of your execution. So your execution times gets increased. Okay, and we are not even sure that tomorrow it will work in 10 seconds also. Okay, tomorrow I am running from my you know um, you know on a different browser on a different network that's really slow. Okay, so it takes 20 seconds. So it will wait maximum for 10 seconds, and I'll try to click on it and it will again fail. So the wait time can vary from 1 seconds to 30 seconds. Let's assume it's okay. So all you have to do is to give the maximum time. Okay, so you will give maximum time. Maybe you will add 2 seconds extra, so you'll wait for 32 seconds. So the problem with this is, if you're giving maximum time, if the element is found in 2 seconds, you are wasting 30 seconds of your execution. Okay, just to wait. So this is a problem, right? And this happens for each and every element. So this is a problem with the using thread.sleep. Okay, so can we avoid thread.sleep? No, we cannot avoid thread.sleep, but there are other waits in Selenium developers have thought through this, and then they've also introduced some good waiting strategies that we are going to learn. But we will learn that maybe in the upcoming classes, but for not now. Okay, so for now, just understand, the only thing that you need to understand is thread.sleep is bad, because you have to give the maximum waiting time, and the maximum waiting time can vary, and it can make you to wait for a very long time. Guys, please don't use any annotations and all. Who's this? Videja? Uh, so, so do you guys have any doubts in this before we head on to our next topic? Any doubts before we go on to next topic?
So, hi, Muthan.
Yeah.
So, Muthan, I mean, let's say in the organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as you are using the unique IDs, I mean, no one is going to point to, right? Like you have to specifically use the XPath or the CSS. No one. I mean, it should be perfectly fine, right? And as long as we are using the unique ID, correct?
Yeah, yeah. See, the problem is some people, okay, still believes, okay, the ID is very fast, the next path and all that. People prefer IDs because, if you have a lingual websites, okay, for example, your website is having English and you also have it in German or Tamil or Hindi, okay. The problem is, okay, the text that you are using to write an XPath might not be really valid, right? So you cannot use the text as a factor to find your XPaths. So in those cases, maybe you have to restrict yourself in using ID and name. But in all other cases, you can always use XPaths or CSS selectors. But CSS selectors, we haven't seen that. But yeah, you can use any locating strategy. That shouldn't be an issue. What people believe is, they have ID is very faster than XPaths. So that's not the case. That was the case maybe almost 5 to 6 years back, but not now. Okay. Now the modern browsers are very smart. They can really understand and distinguish between ID and XPath, and they know that the time it took us maybe very small differences. Okay, maybe 3 milliseconds. Okay, 3 milliseconds or 3 microseconds. So that's how small the difference is. Okay, so it really doesn't matter which strategy you are using, but as long as you can uniquely identify them, that's very important.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, any other doubts from anyone else? uh Good. If you don't have any doubts, that's fine. So again, the problem, there are some problems. Okay, I have mentioned one problem is we are using thread.sleep. We'll come to fix that. And there is also another problem where, okay, we are hard coding the stuff here. Okay, tomorrow in the second test case, or maybe once you done with all these things, okay, what's the cases in my test case, once I click on this stuff, or maybe like that, again I need to click on the all button, the hamburger here. So what do you need to do? You again need to find an element, and then what you have to do, you will copy this and then you paste it here. But if you notice, we are repeating the same lines of code again. What if there is a way that you already have that in a, stored somewhere? Okay, this is what we did, right? When we had int a equal to 5, okay, we are defining the a here, because whenever I want a, I can simply go and use like this, right? So I can print it like this, right, whenever I want a. Otherwise I have to put everywhere system dot out or println 5. Again, it's another place I want this, so I go here and then I put 5. Instead, if you declare it once, you can use it in multiple places like this, correct? So this is what we have learned, even during our addition and all that stuff, right? The same thing here. Okay, if you notice, this hamburger menu or everything, whatever the element that you are finding, it can be repeatable. It may be reused in other places. So it is important, we need to store them somewhere so that we can reuse them later. Okay, for example, this is a piece of string, right? So I can add string hamburger menu. Okay, this is a hamburger menu. People call this as a hamburger menu, guys. Okay, whatever you see as a lines, right? This is normally called as a hamburger in technical words. Okay, so hamburger menu, I want to store this, right? So I will basically store this. Okay, now you have a string hamburger that has the value of this. So whenever you need this, okay, whenever you need this, you can just put hamburger. Okay, now also this will work. Okay, next time I want this, I go here, I instead of this, I can put hamburger, right? This is fine. So this will absolutely work. Okay, the same way you can, replace these things as a strings. Okay, and also if you are okay, you can also store this as a byte type or a web element type. Okay, so we have seen int a equal to 5. Okay, we also seen um, a long double b equal to 5.23. We also steam, we can also add string c equal to some maybe whatever. Okay, so the left hand side is your data type, right? Like I mentioned here, this is a string, so the left hand side is string. The same way you can club these entire thing together. Okay, let's say I want to club this whole stuff from this by itself. Okay, so I want to club this whole thing together. So what I can do, this is your left, this is your right hand side. Okay, if you introduce a new, what you can do, you can press on alt and enter. Okay, alt and enter in your keyboard, it introduce new local variable. So you are not sure what data type it is. Okay, here you can be sure, if your right hand side is having point, it is double. If it is having double quotes, it's a string. If it is a very simple integer, it's a int. But here it is having by dot xpath and all that. So we are trying to use IntelliJ's help to find what type of element it is. Okay, let's say I'm pressing alt and enter again, and I'm clicking on introduce local variable. So this is of byte type. Okay, and the variable name you can give anything. Okay, this is mobiles and computers. Okay, so this is of byte type. Okay, so now if you store this as a byte type, you can put driver dot find element, and directly you can put mobiles and computers. Okay, good. So now this is also good, right? So if you want to use this again and again, instead of you going and typing drive.find element by.id and just reusing the string, you are reusing the entire by component itself. Okay, entire by component itself. That's a good thing. Now the third case, okay, this is a by type. Okay, this is int type, this is double type, this is string type, and this is by type. Okay, now there is also one more way where you can reuse the entire whole stuff. This, okay, let's cut it and put it here. Now again I am using alt and enter and introducing a new variable. This time this is giving me element of web element data type. So again here web element is data type. Okay, element is the variable name, reference variable. Okay, reference variable, and this is the value. Okay, so now you can just mention element dot click. That's it. So wherever you want to click on laptops, you can just mention element and then click, or you can put L shift and R lab name code occurrence lab of elements. Okay, so this is so there are three layers. Okay, first you can directly reuse at the string level. Okay, so that you have to maintain by dot id, and then you have to give the reused value. And then the second level, you can just put by dot export the everything as one thing, so it becomes by type. You can give a variable name and then use it, or you can reuse the whole stuff. Okay, so whenever you are calling find element, this particular method is returning you a web element. Okay, so you have to go on to the basics. Right? So we had a method called as add. Okay, we had a method called as add that returned int, and it takes a int b, and then it returned as a plus b, right? So the same way, this find element, okay, is a method that accepts by type. Okay, it's almost like this. So if i if I press control and then click on it, okay, this will take me to the code where this org.openqa.selenium. So the Selenium developers have written it. Okay, so notice this find element is a method that accepts by type. Okay, here we have int type. The same way it will have by type. Okay, and it will return web elements. Okay, so it will return the web elements here. Okay, so you might be wondering why there is no code inside this, because this is an interface. We'll come to that later, but for now just understand find element is a method. Find element is a method that takes by parameter. Okay, same way xpath is also a method that takes string as a parameter. Okay, id is also a method that takes string as a parameter, and then it returns you by type. Okay, so this is how it is, guys. So it's very simple. I hope you all can understand. If not, please let me know. Okay, okay, I assume you all can understand. If not, you can always ask me. Okay. Yeah. So far we are working with single elements, right? So we are actually finding one element, we are clicking on it. We are finding another element, we are clicking on it. So only one element, we are interacting with only one element at the time. But most commonly it's not the case. Okay, let's assume you are working for Amazon and your manager comes and asks you, okay, I want to you to count how many links are there in this particular, you know, whole page. Okay, I want you to count how many links are there, and I want to print all the text of those links. Okay, so if there is a link like laptop accessories, okay, okay, this is an a tag, right? So I want to print the text of this. Okay, he is coming and asking you this. How will you do this? You cannot go and inspect all these elements. Okay, it's not humanly possible, right? This is not humanly possible. So this is very, very difficult task. So how will you do this? So you want to find all the elements at the same time. So that's the first trick. Okay, maybe I'll go to Google so that it's a little easy for us to imagine instead of so if you notice, this one is having a lot of links. Gmail is a link, images is a link, this is a link. There are a lot of links. All these things are links. Okay, so advertising, about, business, house search, I want to print all the text from this. Okay, so in those cases, okay, we can easily do that. So let's go and create a new class so that we, you know, let's name it as Google based test. Okay, and here I will copy paste the whole stuff that's needed, and instead of this I'll put google.co.in, right? Good. Once this is done, I want to print all the links, right? So that's the way. So now if I put driver dot, so there is find element. Okay, but this will return you. See, if you notice, this is a return type that will return web element. But I want all the elements, right? All the elements that's matching my locating strategy. Find elements. There is one method called find elements. Elements and element are different. So this will be most asked interview question. What is the difference between find element and find elements? Find elements means it will find all the elements. Find element means it, even though if there are more elements matching that, it will only click on the first element matching the locating strategy. Find elements here. And what is the way that I can find all these elements with one single XPath? So as I already told, you all have an idea. I'm putting double slash, which means I want to find all of them. And I'm just putting a here. So when I put a, which means, okay, I want to find all the elements that is having tag name as a. Okay, I don't want to put any other restrictions. Okay, so that it basically finds me all the a tags. Okay, notice this is finding an a tag. So whatever the whenever there is an a tag, which means it's a link. Okay, so I want to find all this. Okay, there are, notice there are 75 of them. Okay, so let's cut it. So this is the XPath, very simple XPath, right? So I want to find all the elements. What do you want to do with this? I don't know what to do. Maybe I want to click each of them, or I want to get the text from each of them. Okay, let's put to. So, oh my God, what is this? Distilling, add, stream, get. I don't understand all these things, right? So first, let's put a semicolon and introduce a new, alt and enter. Let's see. Sorry guys, I missed to mention by.xpath, and the xpath is this. Okay, now alt and enter. Okay, and here introduce new local variable. Oh, this looks really confusing. More than previously you mentioned, okay, int, it was very easy. Then you moved to double, I could understand. String is easily understandable. But then you suddenly, used by. Then you suddenly used web element. Yeah, but these are all just different data types, guys. Okay, in real world we will see a lot of things, right? So when we see a ball of, that's of round shape, okay, we tell it is a ball. Okay, even if it is a bigger size or different color, we could easily identify them. They are all balls, right? The same way, these web element is a data type. It means it's of a type. Okay, you can imagine each data type is a different element that you see in a world. Okay, in Java we call them as data type. Okay, good. So the same way, if you notice, this is list of web elements. Okay, which means there is a list. Okay, there is a list that has all this. So we understood there were 75 of them, right? There were 75 of them here. Okay, and I want to find all of them, right? So which means maybe it has a list. Yesterday we also learned about array. The same way, it also have a list. Okay, I'll tell you what is the difference between list and array. So yeah, so it seems it found say same way. Okay, so it has 75 of them. Okay, and stored in a list. Okay, and this is the zeroth index, like we already know. This is the first index, second index, third index. The same way it will go on till 75. Okay, so it has to store 76 elements, so it will go till here. Okay, each container is having one web element. The first element will be here, this is the second element will be here. Okay, it's almost like an array, but it is little bit different from the array. Okay, so how this is different from array? So array, whenever you are defining an array, okay, let's assume you have int a array that's equal to 5 6 7 8 9 whatever. Okay, you have to define you have to define how many. Okay, how much is the size? If you notice, the size of this is basically 5. Okay, is basically 5. You can also declare like this. Okay, you can also store string type of array. So string b array equal to, you can have um, a string Java, Selenium. Yeah, so now also see, this is a string type of array. Okay, you have array of elements that's of string type. Here you have array of elements that's of integer type, right? And the number of size is 3. The problem with array is you have to mention the size. Okay, that's the problem with the array. I cannot be very sure all the time what is the size of the array, right? For example, in this case, in this web page, there may be 15, there may be 33, there may be 100. Tomorrow, Google might introduce one more link. So I'm not sure how much exactly the values will be. So in those cases, that's the reason they have stored this in an array list. Array list is slightly different from array in the way that array list is also exactly, okay, array list is also exactly operates like array, but but okay, it is dynamically sized. Okay, which means whatever the size you give, it will adapt. If you remove some element, it will get reduced. If you add some element, it will get added. Okay, your size will get increased by 1. So this is the beauty about array list. And the thing about array list is you need to mention, okay, what type of thing you are storing inside the array list. Okay, for example, let's forget this whole stuff. Okay, I want to create a new array list that stores all these values. Okay, now array list. Okay, array list of array list. Okay, equal to new array list. Okay, this is how you have to define it, guys. Okay, and what you are storing, what you are going to store in this array list, that you have to define. So for example, here we mentioned we are storing int. Okay, but here you have to mention that in a generic type. Okay, so for example, I want to store string. Okay, okay, so now you can mention here just the the less than and greater than symbol, or you can just also mention string here. Okay, so anything is fine, but it's not needed. Okay, so, so I'm telling, I'm going to have an array list that going to store a string type, but here I have not mentioned any size. I have not mentioned any size. For now the size is 0. Okay, it will have the default size as 0. We want to add some elements to this, so array list dot add. Okay, so it's telling, how this is telling this is a string. You have to pass a string here, because we told, okay, we are going to store string types in this array list. Okay, so add, and then what is the string value? String value is, let's say, testing. Okay, now the size will be 1. Okay, if you want to add one more value, okay, let's say whatever, okay, now the size will be 2. So every time you add it, the size will get increased. And then every time you remove something, okay, I want to remove, okay, you can pass what is the index, okay. So I want to remove the 0th index, okay. It also work the same way, guys, okay. So the first element will be stored in the 0th index. Here it will have testing, okay. And then in the first index, once you add the next element, the first index will be having Amuden, okay. Once you try to remove the something in the 0th index, now I am trying to removing. So if you notice, I am trying to remove something in the 0th index, which means this testing will be removed, okay. This testing will be removed so that this Amudan comes and shifts to this 0th index, okay. So yeah, when you are having 100 elements, if you remove something from the 4th, okay, if you remove something, then the 5th element will come to the 4th, 6th element will come to the 5th, 7th element will come to the 6th, like wait, it will move, okay. So whenever you are removing something in between, so the elements on the right hand side will shift to the left hand side. So this is how it works, so that the size will be maintained automatically, okay. Good. So yeah, this is all about it. So if you want to also print all the things in this array list, okay, you can also do that. So first I want to print for now I am not doing the removing, okay, let's not do the removing. So I want to print the array list dot. So previously in array we used square brackets to mention it, but for now in array list you need to use method called get, and then you need to pass the index. So what index it is present. So I want to print the 0th index, okay, and then the first index, okay. But say again, I told if you are printing one by one, it will take a lot of time. Suppose if that has 100 elements, you cannot write dot get dot get dot get 100 times, so that's not possible. So what you can do, you can always use for loop. So for loop we already learned. So for right, I'm starting from I equal to 0, yes, and what is the end, okay. So this array list having a method called size, okay. So s out array list dot size. So if you notice, this is a size. Size means it will tell you how much size is it. So 1, this is 2. So I can directly mention 2 here, but dynamically if I want to get the value, I'll put array list dot size. Once this is done, you can just do s out and array list dot get I. Okay, this is what we have done, right? We when we are iterating through integer array, we did the same. Okay, don't get shocked. Okay, here we used a dot length. Okay, and s out a of I. Okay, the syntax is just different, guy. Okay, so we if we want to mention the index, we need to put square brackets. Here we need to use a method called get, so that it will go and get that element in the 0th index. Okay, so yeah, first let's try to run this. Maybe I'll comment out this for now. Okay, I'll comment this one as well. So let's try to run it. So if you notice, it's printing a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, testing more than 2, testing everything is getting printed. So here we are using for loop to print. Here we are directly printing it. Okay, and the size is also getting printed. That is 2. Okay, 2 is the size of this particular array list. The same way, now your left hand side is previously we added one by one. Okay, correct. But now let me remove the comments here. So we are going to work with so I'll also remove this unnecessary stuff that I have added. Okay, here we all don't need this. Okay, maybe yeah, so let's go here. So here we added one by one. Here everything is getting added automatically to this. Okay, so now we have list of web elements, right? So this can be even made as an array list. Okay, I'll come to what is list and array list better, but for now okay, maybe this is returning your list. For now we'll put it. So this is almost the same. Okay, so you have list of elements, you want to iterate them one by one, and you want to print the text out of it. So what I can do, I'll put for I. Okay, and here I'm going to put elements dot size, which means if there are 100 elements that we found on the Google page, we want to iterate 100 of them, and we also want to print the text out of it, right? So what I can do, if you want to get the text, we used element. Okay, elements dot get. You want to first get that element, that is get of I. So now you get one by one element. Okay, so if there are 75 elements, first you will get this element, you will get this element, everything you will get, and then inside that particular element, I want to get text of it. For each, first to get the element and then get the text out of that element. Okay, and then you print that. Okay, that's what we are doing. Okay, let's try to comment this out and try to run it. Let's see what's happening. So if you notice, all these texts are getting printed. Okay, so there are something that is blank because these links are blank links. Okay, so yeah, so if you don't want to print those blank links again, so what I'm doing, so first, so this will basically give me, so I'm getting text of the each element, right? So this will be a string parameter. Okay, string of text. Okay, you can direct, if we are actually doing text like this, we are printing the text directly. But what I want to do, I want to write a if condition, that if text, okay, dot, okay, what I want to do, I want to check whether this is a blank link. Okay, so what I can do, equals, okay, if it is equals to an empty string. Okay, if it is equal to an empty string, I don't want to do anything. If it is not equal to empty string, then only I want to print the text. Okay, okay, this not symbol means if it is not equal to empty string, I want to print. If it is empty, you just ignore it, otherwise it's just displayed in the console. We don't want that. Okay, so let's see now. So if you notice, all the empty strings are now removed. Only Gmail images, sign in, everything is getting removed. Hindi, Marathi, everything is getting printed, right? So yeah, this is how you can basically use a list. So first you have to understand what is array. We have already understand, array is basically a group of collection of similar data types. And we already seen that the problem with array is it's a fixed size. You cannot change the size once you declare it, and while declaring itself you need to mention the size. But array list is different, where you can declare this without mentioning the size. You can add elements, you can remove elements, everything you can do. Okay, so whenever you want something to be dynamically sized, then use array list, or if you want to be statically thing, then you go for array. Okay, static size, you go for array. So yeah, so that's all about it, guys. Any doubts so far? I'll happy to answer your questions. If not, we'll connect again tomorrow.
So what is the difference between the array list and list?
Yeah, that's what we are going to learn next tomorrow. So just keep
Okay.
this for now, just leave this. Okay, I'll tell you, I have to speak about uh, few things tomorrow, very important. That is, what is classes in Java, what is objects in Java, what is interfaces. Okay, uh, what is inheritance. Okay, I'm going to speak about a lot of important things tomorrow. So once we are done with this, you will get to know what is the difference between list and array list. Okay,
Okay.
so sorry guys, I could not hear you. Sorry. Is anyone speaking? Okay. So let me stop the recording. So